What is up, ladies and gents? Noli here. Welcome to another Payday 2 video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new heist added yesterday, the Goat Simulator DLC. So this DLC came with the heist, bunch of achievements, mass of course, and a brand new shotgun. So I'm going to be reviewing the sort of value for money here. What I'm going to be doing is giving you my first impressions having played the heist. I haven't even used the weapon yet, but I think the heist is what we're all looking at, because I took a look at the original promotional material for this, the trailer, and there was a very clear sign of distaste for this heist idea. Of course, it's a collaboration with the studio behind the Goat Simulator games, which have never really been a serious affair. And I think Payday 2 takes itself a little more seriously, so how are these things going to work together? Is Overkill even trying anymore? Well, let me tell you, based on the quality of this heist, they most certainly are. The heist came out last night, and I feel like when I played it, I had the best time I've had since the launch of the game. Truly, this heist is silly. It's exactly what they went for on that front. But the way the mechanics and objectives have been designed in it, it is tons of fun. And I think the thing that I will go back to again, this being a loud-only 2-day heist, is that both days the heist design, the map design, is phenomenal, and it's what really makes a difference, because the maps are widely expansive, some of the biggest we have seen within the game so far. So the effort's definitely gone in there. Is the heist exactly what we wanted? I think so, yeah. Or, well, it's not what I expected, let me put it that way. I had a lot more fun with it than I originally anticipated. I'm going to go through some of the elements of the heist, talking about some of the objectives that you're seeing on screen right now, and also pointing out the things that I think Overkill went the extra mile on and made it an overall more polished and enjoyable experience. So let's get into it. I mean, what can I really say about day one of this heist? It is all over the place. I absolutely adore it. Day one was my favourite of the 2 days, I will be honest. It's a slightly shorter day, but it's got a little more variety to the activities you have to do. You get dropped off having knocked over the people transporting the goats. The story behind the goats, by the way, is they were clearly force-fed packages of cocaine, which is now in their stomach or travelling further than that, and we're going to have to get the goats rescued so that we can get back to transporting our coke. So day one is all about the recapture of the goats, and let's just say day two is all about the recapture of the cocaine, if you catch my drift. But things don't quite go right in day two. But let's first of all focus on day one. So all you're going to be doing is trying to pick up 13 goats. I'm not sure whether this is a movable number. I've only done the heist on Overkill so far, so Deathwish may be more difficult. But you're doing it in the rather expansive downtown DC, which is really nicely pulled off. Probably one of the biggest areas I've seen. You actually have to have a Longfellow to really easily traverse from side to side. The car will allow you to transport the goats a little easier as well, and I really like car missions. I think they're done much better these days, and especially ones where you don't have to use the car for the objective, but it's sort of recommended. Really enjoy that. And then you're going to have to just discover the goats. Some will be lying down and be easy to pick up, some will be stood up, and I'm almost certain one of them back-kicked me and knocked me down, so watch out for those. Some will be jumping on the car, making a right mess, and others will be in preset objectives. One was attached to a ceiling fan, which was electrocuted. That was a funny one. Another one was all the way up on top of a street lamp. Got to saw through that to get him down. Another we found up on scaffolding, which had also been electrocuted, so we had to turn the power off there. And then finally, my favourite is one that is stuck inside a burning building. Not entirely sure how he got up there, but that one's actually a really intense little rescue. There are tons of cops inside the corridors of this building, and the building is on fire. So there's a couple of sprinklers you've got to turn off before you finally get to the go and get back down to street level. So the goats can be a little awkward to find at times, and it can be quite frustrating to pick up the last couple, but once you've found them all, that's just because the map's so big, and I'm not complaining. I definitely think big maps work really well. The map gets filled with AI, and they're going to cause havoc from all angles. But yeah, it can take a little while for you to finish this heist if you can't find the last goat. They do spawn in preset but randomly generated locations, so I think the more you do this heist, the more used to it you will get. And I find the mechanics and the objectives were just a load of fun. And they're silly, they're funny, they made me laugh. It's exactly what they were going for. Anyone who was complaining about this heist being a cheap tie-in with Goat Simulator, I don't think you have an awful lot to fret about. I mean, I laughed. It's not my sense of humour, but I definitely laughed when I chucked the goat from one side of the road to the other and it screamed, as a goat would, with cocaine shoved up its orifices. Orifici, I don't know how to say that. But yeah, it screamed, flew off, was hilarious. And that's what Overkill was going for. But if you want, you can close your eyes and imagine their bags, because they basically function in the same way. I think, if anything, they actually fly a little bit further for whatever reason. And I'm sure a mod will come out to stop you having to imagine their goats or some sort of awful cheap tie-in. But no, it was effective, it was funny, and it was enjoyable. So I have no complaints that it was Goat Simulator themed. Really nicely pulled off. Day one's one of my favourite heists ever. Yeah, of the two, it's my favourite. I think what really makes it for me is the fantastic music that goes alongside it. Simon has really outdone himself on both days, but day one was my favourite. Personally, my favourite DLC music, even better than Hotline Miami. And also the character lines. Vlad carries the mission wonderfully with his hilarious quips. And also the characters will make, your in-game playable characters will make comments on what's going on, which will make the whole thing feel a little more immersive. I know at one point on day 2, I think Houston shouts out there on the top of the roof. And it was actually a really helpful gameplay hint that helped us out. And I love to see that, and I think that it just shows Overkill's gone the extra mile with this particular heist. Day 2, much of the same, also loads of fun. I did prefer day 1, like I said, but the way day 2 works is you're, as I said, about to rescue the cocaine from its goat captors. But as things happen, you actually get interrupted by the rival gang who are originally moving the goats around. I think they are called the Hondurans. And they will crash the party at the barn. And you've got a sort of holdout area, which I really enjoy. They're always loads of fun. It feels like a section in Hotline Miami. It's pretty intense and very challenging, especially I imagine on Death Wish difficulty. Can't wait to get that video out for you guys. So once you've done the sort of holdout section, you're going to get contacted by Vlad's brother-in-law of all people, the pilot you might remember from the White Christmas heist, who's going to drop off a cage which will allow you to transport the goats. So the mission transforms a little bit from a holdout to more of a moving section where you have to move the bags from one side to another. Once you've set up the cage and filled it with the goats, Vlad's brother's going to come by and pick it up, very much the Go Bank style, by snagging the balloon. And I don't mind them reusing those sort of mechanics. I think that's absolutely fine. I'm not sure whether Vlad's brother had a chance to miss it or not. I imagine, given his track record, he probably does. You certainly can do it one go at a time, as I think one achievement requires you to, which might be a little frustrating. But yeah, that just turns it into a even longer holdout, which is, as I've already said, a load of fun. Once you've done that, you're going to be driving again, back in the Longfellow along the highway, which is quite a difficult driving section, kind of akin to Meltdown, because you're going to have to deal with a load of turrets. And once those turrets shoot out your engine, you're going to have to get out and repair the Longfellow. And let me tell you, when you're left on the highway with no cover, it's very, very difficult. So the challenge on this heist is definitely there. Once you've got through the highway section, though, you're basically in the clear. You're going to get the bridge to turn around. That involves drilling through a door and then interacting and holding off again. Once that's done, you're completely in the clear and you just have to drive into the initial van. That's your escape. So that is the heist. Not too hard overall, a load of fun, certainly some decent challenge there. I think they just managed to nail the atmosphere on this one. I think that might be why I had such a good time. One thing that I think is slightly disappointing is there is no additional loot you can find, no funny little Easter eggs other than the goats being silly. That I think is a little bit of a wasted opportunity and a shame. But other than that, everything's executed perfectly. The enemy spawns is, I think, something that's definitely worth mentioning on both days of the heist. They're done in such a way where you can't just chuck a Molotov at one area and cause them problems. They'll come from every angle. There's loads of them. It'll create real intensity and difficulty within the heist. And my favourite is the gunships that fly overhead that can carry snipers, which will cause huge problems for you because they're snipers from miles away. You actually might need a sniper amongst your team to take them out. I know at one point we took one out and he actually fell out of the helicopter, which was a massive fall and interesting to see within Payday. Good to see the engine was able to handle it. But yeah, the gunships create a looming overhead fear. At one point we had 3 gunships dropping off enemies at all times. They were also coming from different areas on the highway. And it did what it wanted to do. It made the goat heist silly, but also a challenging experience that I think everyone I was playing with really enjoyed. And I think everyone I've spoken to who's actually sat down and played this heist have really enjoyed it. So, initial impressions, guys, I imagine I really did share yours. Goat Simulator, really? I don't want to make videos on this. But then once I got into it, I want to make every video on this heist. It's so much fun, so silly, and it's just good Payday 2 enjoyment. This is what the game is all about. Payday's never really taken itself too seriously, and I think it is at its best when it remembers we don't really have to. So, Day 1 and Day 2 of the Goat Simulator heist are fantastic. Day 1 is between 10 and 15 minutes, and Day 2 is between 15 and 20, I would say. Meaning you've got roughly a 30 to 35 minute long heist in your midst, which is not bad at all. Remembering that the Diamond, another great heist, was between 10 and 15 alone and cost the same amount. So definitely can't, I think, complain for value for money. Also included as shotguns, mass achievements, as I mentioned earlier. So yeah, while it's not a full review, that one may come later. From what I've experienced, it's great bang for your buck. If you're just interested in playing it, of course, one of your friends could have picked up the DLC, or you can just search for it. You don't have to buy this one yourself, but stay tuned over the weekend. I may have come into a couple of copies that I can give you guys so that you can own the DLC for yourselves. The shotgun review will be coming up in the next couple of days. Definitely want to show that one off to you. It's a shotgun secondary, so shotgun in the best weapon slot it could possibly go. That's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoy the remaining gameplay. I hope you guys are swayed to take a look at the Goat Simulator heist. It's crazy fun and executes exactly what it wanted to. Props to Overkill for creating such an enjoyable heist out of nothing. Thanks for watching, guys. See you all in the next one.